Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Two Footed Tackle podcast. I'm your host, Ari Stamatakos. I'm so happy to be joining or to be doing this right now. It's we all know, and you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, and the croakiness in my voice, and the unwavering smile on my face. This is going to be a good one. I can't wait to do this, and it's currently 8:12 a.m. on Sunday, the 27th of November. Nice and early, nice bright and early for this one. Woke up for the Argentina Mexico game, which we may or may not cover towards the back end of this episode. Who knows? But as you can tell by my voice, it's gone. It is so gone. It's not even funny how just gone it is. But I think it needs to be excused because of the performance that the boys put in. But we're gonna touch on that not quite right now because I've not done all the formalities and all the intro. But I hope everyone's well. I hope the day has treated you all well. Since the last time we spoke, apologies for it being horrendously late again last night. Basically, I start blaming it on YouTube, and now I've come to realize the fact that I just can't time manage. So I just can't time manage at all. So this should be out by 2. No excuses, because it's 8 a.m. So I've got plenty of time to get this out. This should be out by 2. I'll learn to time manage better next time. But yes, so that's that. All for my So subscribe to the Two Foot Attack podcast on YouTube. Do all that good stuff. Once again, all the relevant links are in the description of YouTube, and of course in the link tree bio in Twitter and Instagram bios, where you can find literally anything you need relating to this podcast. But I think we're done. In terms of formalities. Let's go to. Let's go to. Am I done? I just want to get everything out of the way so I don't try and backtrack myself. No, we're done. Yeah, so subscribe, do all that good stuff, follow all the socials, get around it, share it, 5-star ratings, like it, give it some love. You mean more than the world. But yeah, let's go. Let's move on and let's touch on the reason why this voice is the way it is. And as you can tell by the title, I apologise if you're not Australian listening to this, then I probably don't watch it. I actually watch it, watch to the end for the retention rate and stuff. But unless you want to hear 45 minutes of an Australian bloke going mental about a World Cup win, then you can listen to it. But if not, completely fair enough. I might touch on the other results a little bit later if I have time, but probably not. But it was of course the game, and it was one of the greatest sporting moments of a lot of people's, especially my age, and their life, right? So, of course, it was Australia 1, Tunisia 0. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We're alive. The Socceroos, Australia, are alive in Group D. We go into that game against Denmark with absolutely everything to play for. It's a situation which we all thought we could have been in pre-tournament. I thought that we should be in this position pre-tournament at the very least. And the fact that we're here is just unbelievable. The feeling is absolutely unbelievable. There's nothing like it. But I think this is going to be very akin to the podcast where of course Australia qualified for the tournament against Peru. I think let's speak about it a little bit chronologically, shall we? And then I'll give my overall thoughts and stuff. Of course, it was a very early kickoff, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Absolute prime of the prime time. You cannot get more of a prime time than what this game was. You can't script it any better. The build up to the game was, of course, very very tense, very kind of, people were very scared. That's something which I found quite clear. People were scared to give predictions. People were nervous. People were hesitant, timid. No one really wanted to jinx anything. I didn't jinx anything. I didn't give a prediction on the podcast. I didn't give a prediction publicly anywhere. I couldn't jinx it. I couldn't take the risk. And of course, we all knew the one guaranteed change to the starting lineup. That was, of course, Nathaniel Atkinson would miss due to a ankle injury, I believe. I'll go with ankle injury. It definitely was an injury of some sort, which almost meant Frank Karacic was basically certain to play unless he moved Dega or Dega neck out wide. But that was the one change which we all knew was guaranteed to happen. Probably I think maybe 2 days before. Oh no, yesterday it happened on Saturday night. The announcement came through. Especially when I found it anyway. So we knew a day out, or sorry, Friday night I should say. So we knew a day out. The one guaranteed change to the lineup, and from then on it was just kind of a waiting game until an hour before Graham Arnold's squad is released, and it is an unchanged lineup, barring, of course, the mandatory change at right fullback. A lot of people, including myself, wasn't really a fan of it. I thought that maybe Hrustic should have started. Maybe you rest Moy. Maybe get Camp Devlin into the game a little bit. Get Alan Mobile into the thick of things. Maybe start one of Jamie McLaren or Jason Cummings. But you had to back the boys and you had to back Arnie, because you can disagree all you want, but it's not going to change. So you just have to back the decision that has been made, and give them your full partisan support. And that's what I think a lot of people did. The game kicks off, and from minute one, or maybe for the first maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes, it was a little bit back and forth, kind of cat and mouse, two teams trying to figure each other out. But I would say maybe from the 5th minute to the 45th minute, it was one of the most dominant displays I've seen this Socceroos side play. It was unbelievable, like absolutely unbelievable to watch. It wasn't even a competition. Australia should have been 3-0 up, 2-0, at least 2-0 up at least by half time. The tenacity, the fight, the energy, the winning every single second ball, the calmness in possession, the willingness to play that pass, to carry the ball that extra 5 meters, to take the game on. It was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It was just, I mean, getting a little bit carried away in terms of a game ahead of myself in terms of what I was going to speak about the timeline. But I think the start of the game showed that if we can continue that, then we'll be giving ourselves a good chance of winning. And of course, the goal came through a long ball to the feet of Mitchell Duke, who deftly just lays it off to, I think it was Riley McGree, who played it out to Craig Goodwin. The reverse run from Duke into the box, a little bit of like get some fortunate things going our way with the cross being deflected. It goes right into the path of Mitchell Duke, who guides it home. That is an unbelievable header. Like, that is a world class. Like, that is absolutely world class. It's not even funny. Like, that is one of the best headers I've seen. Like, the fact that he can react quickly enough to the deflection, the fact that he can get his head in a position where he can header it where the ball's behind him, the fact that he's guided it with the back of his head or like the temple of his head, and the fact that it's flown into literally an unsavable position, it's an absolutely world class header. It's not even a joke. Like, that is unbelievable. That header, that is unbelievable. And from that moment on, I think the main rhetoric, especially from me screaming in my living room, was just keep your heads, boys. Keep your heads. See out or get to halftime at least, or if you're not going to get to halftime, if that makes sense, just at least keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on for 5-10 minutes at least, and put the foot on the throat and slam down the throttle, because we had them on the ropes. We couldn't afford to sit off. We couldn't afford to just sit back and kind of soak up pressure like what we did against France. Of course, much different opposition, and we didn't. We kept going. We kept fighting, and we kept playing this incredible brand of football. I think that obviously Tunisia had chances. That one off the quick throw where the ball's laid across the box, and Harry Souttar flying across with an unbelievable block. I mean, I want to mention him as well a little bit later. I want to go through the game as it happened and then speak about my thoughts overall. And then of course Tunisia had the chance late on in the half where the ball gets whipped across. I think maybe the striker got ahead of, it might have been Kai Rouse. I think it might have been Kai Rouse. No, it was Harry Souttar. I think it was Harry Souttar. Gets across Harry Souttar and flies to the near post, which is just seen wide by Matt Ryan. Of course, halftime comes. A lot of people are kind of not really tempting fate, but that is the best this Socceroos side has looked. I would say in the Graham Arnold era, that was the best Graham Arnold side I've ever seen. Up there with the game against Peru, but I mean the game against Peru was very kind of timid, very cautious. This was intensity, tempo, high octane, attacking, just unbelievable in terms of the 50-50s, the tenacity, the winning every single second ball. Of course, Tunisia make the change at halftime. They go back to a 4. They get an extra man in midfield, start to get on top of the game, and really the second half was all Tunisia. But I think that the MO was pretty clear, and that was just to hold on, to absolutely hold on. Defensively, we were absolutely outstanding. And then I think probably the best chance of the whole game came in I think about the 70th minute. McLaren gets down the line, gets that ball across, to Matt Leckie, who was fractions away from doubling the lead and sending 25 million people into a high, which I don't think a lot of people have experienced, especially in recent times. Australia held firm, and it looked like we were gonna. It looked like we were gonna get there. It looked like we were gonna get there without any particular dramas or any particular issues. But the moment of the game for me, the moment of the game for me. You can speak about the goal. You can speak about that Leckie chance, but to me, this is the moment of the game, and this will. I mean, I don't want to tempt fate. I hope things get better from here. But if we're talking right now, this is probably one of the best, in my opinion, like a Socceroos moments at the World Cup, probably since Timmy's goal in 2014 against the Dutch. Going even further back than that, I would say you can speak about the Serbia win in 2010, but I guess we were pretty much all confirmed to be knocked out by that stage. And of course, 2006, we all know like that's unmatched, right? But that when the ball hits Kai Rouse in the face, and I can't remember who it was, but the Tunisian striker is through on goal, and then coming across from the top of screen, this 6'7", I would assume close to 100 kilo, Scottish behemoth, just colossus, coming across and just putting in one of the most unbelievable tackles you're ever gonna see. The balls and the courage and the confidence to go for that tackle at that time in that scenario, and then the talent and the sheer footballing ability to pull that off. Absolutely picture perfect tackle. You cannot get a better tackle than that. If he mistimes that, he probably takes a striker out, gets sent off. They probably score and maybe even go on to win the game. If he misses that tackle and the Tunisia player gets past him, he's 1-on-1 with the keeper. If Harry Souttar just doesn't go for the tackle and he lets the Tunisian player kind of taking the ball a couple of more yards forward, we're probably speaking about a 1-1 draw, or once again even a 2-1 Tunisia win. Unbelievable tackle. And my heart sunk in my chest when I saw him run through. I was like, not like this, not like this. And then the moment that just typified the whole game was that tackle. It was unbelievable. It getting goosebumps thinking about it now. It's absolutely staggering. Absolutely world class. That is a world class tackle, and I think from there, despite there being 11 more minutes of game time left, we all kind of knew that was the moment for Tunisia. That was the moment. We didn't really think, surely from there we were able to hold on, and Australia could have gotten one more. Our Mobile takes a pretty poor touch cutting inside. I mean, if he had scored that, delirium. Absolute, just pure ecstasy if he had scored that and put us 2-0 up, and that would have been the best moment of my life, hands down, right? But he takes a poor touch, they recycle possession, the ball's lumped long, Matt Ryan claims, holds the ball for what seemed like 6 years, and then chaos, really. absolutely chaos. The Socceroos' first World Cup win since 2010. The Socceroos' really first meaningful win at the World Cup since 2006. Of course, 2010 we beat Serbia, but I think we're all but out by that stage. All but confirmed to be going home and not going through to the next round. Granted, we missed out on goal difference 2010. 2014, we had a very good campaign without getting a point. 2018, we got a point in a campaign that started pretty well and ended very poorly against Peru. And then we're going to speak about this campaign with one more game to go, and we'll speak about that a little bit later on. But yeah, everything to play for. I would like to hand out some apologies. First and foremost, before I give my overall thoughts, I'd like to hand out some apologies to the one and only Mitchell Duke. I apologise for everything I have ever said. Everything I've ever said. I am so sorry. That it was one of the best striking performances I've seen from a striker in this country. The it gets me so proud to fucking think about the player that he is and the player that he has been and how ridiculed he's been by me, by so many other people. But for him to score the goal, but like the deft touch to give it to McGree and then make that reverse run that doesn't even take any heart or any kind of tenacity or willingness. That's talent. That's football, right? So you have that. Then you have so you have that, and then you have just the ability to play. You have the ability to play just such unbelievable kind of just like second effort after second effort after second effort. We did not give up once, like going off for every header, getting battered pillar to post. And then, I mean, let's speak about the goal. Like I said, one of the best headers I've ever seen, especially from an Australian. And that comes from a country which had Tim Cahill playing for them for however many World Cups, right? So I think that goes to show just how good that header was. I apologise, Mitchell, if you're watching. Considering your name's in the title, I think you might be. I don't think you will, but if you do somehow come across this, I am so sorry. I am sincerely sorry. I guess you have to extend and kind of by association, extend an apology out to Graham Arnold because, I mean, you can speak about him all you want, and really, it's probably a little bit lenient to apologise to him as things stand because the job's not done. The job is not done, and we'll speak about the permutations of what this means a little bit later. But the job's not done, put it that way, and you can't extend the apology out just yet. But what you can do is acknowledge, got it right today, got it absolutely spot on. We got in their faces early. We didn't give them a second to breathe. Every second ball, every single fighting every single time. It was phenomenal, really. It was phenomenal, and I am so proud of what that group did on Saturday night, and I think you have to give credit to Graham Arnold at the very least because he could have told us to play a little bit more. Could have told us to play a little bit more possession heavy, try and sit back, hit on the counter maybe, or approach the game differently. But the way he approached the game was spot on. Speak about the second half. I tend to focus on the positives rather than the negatives. Yeah, the second half wasn't great, but it didn't need to be great. It just needed to be good enough, and it was good enough. The first half, though, was more than great. The first half, though, was exceptional. It was one of the best performances, if not the best performance I've seen from this country. In that first half, it was unbelievable football. Absolutely unbelievable football. And you can't put it any other way. The tenacity, the fight, every second ball, every second effort, the cleanliness in possession, the willingness to do absolutely everything in defence, fighting for every single 50-50. It makes me so proud to go back and watch that first half in particular. And that is my country. They're the players that represent us. It makes us so proud. It makes me so proud. And we know, and it's like we're like proud fathers and proud parents, I should say, because we know how capable this group can be. We know how capable this group can be because we've seen it. We've seen it. We saw it. We saw it last night. We saw just how capable they can be. So when they perform poorly and we get on their backs, it's not because we hate them. It's because we know just how good they can be. And you can say, oh yeah, it was just Tunisia, calm down. But mate, every team at that World Cup deserves to be there. Every team at that World Cup can win on any given day. We needed to perform, and that first half was one of the best performances I've seen from a Socceroos team, and by far the best performance I've seen from a Graham Arnold Socceroos team. Scintillating from start to finish, absolutely perfect. That first half, perfect. And you have to extend that out to the second half. Yeah, once again, it was different. The way that we played the second half was different. It wasn't as on the front foot. It wasn't as attacking. It wasn't as kind of willingness to go forward. I think that did come from the change that Tunisia made. They moved to a 4, moved an extra man in midfield, meaning they got a little bit more ascendancy in that area. But regardless, it was good enough. It was good enough, and this country hasn't been good enough for long enough. And on Saturday night, we were good enough for long enough, and ultimately, in a tournament game, in a game where it's just three, it's not a league format where you need to, where form is necessarily important or kind of momentum in a sense. It's kind of 90 minutes. It's 90 minutes. You can't think about anything other than the 90 minutes you're playing. And for those 90 minutes against Tunisia, we were good enough for long enough. And that's all that needed to be said. That's all that needed to be done, I should say. Yeah. I think it's time to acknowledge the man in the title, the other man in the title. We've spoken about one man, and let's speak about the other, and that is Ari Stamatakos. Wow, wow, that should be illegal. that performance is illegal. You're not allowed to do that. That's not fair. Yeah, that's not fair. That's illegal. You can't do that. Coming off, this is I think his third full 90 minutes since coming back from an ACL injury. Put him on the shelf for 12 months. To come back and to do that, not even just the tackle, not even just the block in the first half or the tackle in the second half, but he's a player that understands his strengths. He's 6'7". Like I said, I'm assuming he's close to 100 kegs, if not more. He uses all of that and some, throws his weight around, bullies strikers, wins every single header, every single 50-50. He throws his whole weight behind it. And you wouldn't want to think that this could be the case considering it's a World Cup, but you could excuse, if you're going to excuse anyone in that squad of slightly downing tools if shit gets tough. I'm not excusing it in any regard, but if you're going to justify it at least, or at least come up with a reason why a player would do that, Harry Souttar, of course, is an Australian, right? He is. Now he is. Now he's, mate, signed, sealed. Where's the citizenship? Fucking slip. Signed, sealed, delivered. You're an Aussie, mate. Absolutely, without a doubt. But for him to... There's a different feeling when you represent the country of your birth. You can listen to so many players who have in a similar position to Harry Souttar. The feeling when you don't represent the country of your birth is a little bit different to the feeling of when you represent the country of your birth. And for Souttar to kind of seemingly put that all aside and perform like that, mate, if I bring up something, I didn't really want to get into stats or anything in this podcast because I feel like it's not really the kind of the podcast for it, speaking about stats. But if we're going to bring anything up, I think it's apt and pretty fair enough that we're going to be speaking about Harry Souttar's stats, because frankly, it was world class. It was world class, and he had 100% tackle success rate, 100% ground duels won success rate, 50 touches of the ball, 6 clearances, 5 long balls completed, 3 blocks, 2 out of 3 aerial duels won, and of course that last man tackle. Just unbelievable. I don't think he'll be playing at Stoke for too much longer. Um, yeah, just one of those players who you we'd be so much worse without, worse without. But yeah, once again, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where you can't think about what might be, what could have been, what would have been, what should have been. You have to look at what has happened and what has been. Um, and that was as the lighting gets a little bit more white because of the shutters, the sun's floating in and out of the clouds, I assume. You have to think about what was and what is, and that is of course Harry Souttar being a Socceroo and being arguably the best player in that squad. Yeah, just like absolutely like a colossus, like for the longest time, like Australia historically have had pretty good centre halves, right? If you go back to the '06 era with the likes of Popper and Neil and these guys moving into the new era with like Sainsbury and Sporanovic even when he was in the squad. But there's a different feeling about Harry Souttar. Like he could be like a truly world class centre back. Like I'm talking the elite of the elite. He's got everything. He can pass the ball around, ping the ball around like no problem, right? He's 6'7", weighing, like I said, close to 100 kegs, I assume. Good in the air, very good from set pieces in terms of a threat from set pieces. He's got everything. Can play in a 3, can play in a 2. Yeah, it makes me so proud that he's playing for this side, and one of those things where, like I said, you got to be grateful that it's happened, right? If you're gonna speak about another man, I could go through the whole fucking squad. Even fucking Marco Tilio didn't play. Even anyone, but I want to speak on Aaron Moy quickly because he he's well. How do we speak about Aaron Moy? Because it was a very good performance, a very good performance, a performance in which Australia needed from him playing in that holding midfield role. Um, Obviously, it was a little bit of a 4-4-2 at times, with McGree pushing slightly further up alongside Duke, trying to make those runs in behind, maybe even a 4-1-4-1. I mean, a 4-4-1-1, I think that's probably a little bit more apt. And we needed Aaron Moy to step up, and especially when the game was in the balance in that first half where we dominated and where we needed control over the ball. He was unbelievable. Just so composed, so calm, and I understand the critics and the kind of negative aspects towards him in terms of he's lost that pace. He potentially isn't willing to go all in, in 50-50s because of his age, because he's a little bit like I said, on the older side, lost that yard of pace. But in possession, he's so good, and I think when you speak about Aaron Moy, by association, you have to speak about both Jackson Irvine and Riley McGree, because without both of them, Aaron Moy is left exposed through no fault of his own. Just like like you don't lose your pace on purpose, right? It's one of those things, right? And I think he would have to be fully aware of that. But Jackson Irvine and Riley McGree are two players who potentially won't get the plaudits they deserve. But without them, Australia don't win this game. Without them, Aaron Moy doesn't produce what he produced. And they're, once again, two absolutely midfield, just engines, pure engines. And, of course, no Hrustic, which meant Riley McGree had to step up, and he did. I think he was very good against France. I think he was very good again last night. Jackson Irvine, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the squad. I think he's so integral. was probably our best player throughout the qualification campaign, if you want to talk about consistency. And while he hasn't been a standout player, throughout these 2 games, I thought he was excellent last night. If I want to speak about the wingers, I mean, Goodwin's pretty good. Hey, I didn't really realize how good he was. Nice. Good he was. No, that's funny. I said he should start against France purely from a tactical perspective of he offers a little bit more defensive security. However, now I'm realizing, he's our best left winger. He's by far our best left winger. Comfortably so as well. Comfortably so. His intelligence, football IQ, crossing ability to just get the ball, be direct, get those balls in. Like I said, his defensive ability, because his ability to run all day is second to none. We know that. His ability from set pieces as well is fantastic. Set piece taker. He was exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. No other way about it. And I mean, you speak about Goodwin, you have to speak about Leckie. A lot of people were frustrated by him. I saw on Twitter and speaking through, talking to a couple of people, a lot of people were frustrated with him. I understand that to an extent. I feel like he can be a little bit profligate at times, a little bit wasteful, a little bit kind of not really. How do you say this? Not really getting the best out of every situation in a sense. He doesn't really get the best out of every situation. However, when he does get it right, he gets it very right. So it's that balancing act. But I thought his defensive ability, something sticks out in my mind. It was throughout the first half. I can't remember when it was, but no, second half. It was the second half, and Leckie kind of takes the ball in the center circle, I think, or maybe just to the right hand side of the center circle, and he gets past one but loses possession, 50-50 ball. The Tunisian player is going to get there first, but he goes 2 feet off the ground, diving in to get that ball, blocks that pass, gets up and plays the ball forward, I think, or at least the ball ricochets forward, and we spring an attack on from there. That moment got me out of my fucking couch. It got me off the couch and made me go absolutely mental, because it goes back to that thing of, I mean, we saw Mitchell Duke do it time and time again. We saw Ari Stamatakos do it time and time again. Aziz Beige did it time and time again. That just absolutely, if you get beat once, that's fine, it happens. But don't get beat the second time. You can't get beat the second time. Don't let the opposition get 2 on you in the space of 10 seconds. Go back and win that second ball. And we did that. We did that all throughout last night. It's just so pleasing to see from every single one of them. The hunt, the hunger to win, the hunger to get every second ball, the hunger to just attack smartly, but to also be cautious of the potential counter-attacks. Just brilliant. I think who haven't I spoken on? Who haven't I spoken on? I mean, the fullbacks. Aziz was great as well. Aziz was good. He's very reliable. Karacic, thought he was a little bit profligate on that right hand side, especially going forward. But we know what he offers, and that's obviously very physically capable. Very physically capable. A lot more physically intimidating than Nathaniel Atkinson. But we knew what he was going to offer. Played well. Same with Aziz. Played well. I think our fullbacks are potentially a little bit of our weaker areas. Especially left back, we don't have a lot of depth. I think in 2026, our right back situation is going to be Karacic, Atkinson, and then just leave it be. I think they're going to be very, very good in 2026. But right now they are. I mean, I know Karacic is a little bit older, so you can't really use that excuse. But once he has more time in the Socceroos squad, hopefully Brescia get promoted. I don't know where they're sitting at the moment in Serie B, but if not, hopefully he can get a move to a top club. But I think Atkinson's the one who Hackinson's the one who will be the starter in 2026, and then we'll have a more than capable deputy in Karacic. So, whereas now it is a little bit of kind of a 50-50. Whereas, left back, left back, I think you look at Aziz, I don't think Aziz will be there in 2026, so you've got to look at who's on the bench. Davo won't be there. Joel King will probably go. Gershbach, I don't know how old Gershbach is. Jordy Boss, maybe, getting hopefully if he can stick out his, or just elevate his game from strength to strength is what he seems to be doing for Melbourne City. But anyway, I'm fucking going on a tangent. Who cares about Jordy Boss? He wasn't in the squad. Or Gershbach or fucking Joel King. Joel King was in the squad, didn't play. Davo wasn't in the squad. Who cares about them right now? And then I think the last person I haven't spoken about is Kyle Rouse. Of course, Kyle Rouse and Matt Ryan. Just reliable. So reliable. Just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm struggling to think of... I'm struggling to think of different adjectives to describe these players other than brilliant. Because that's what they all were. That is what they all were. Yeah, just unbelievable. And if we speak about the players that came off the bench, Deganek, Bacchus, Hrustic, Mobile, and J-Mac. Speak on Deganek, I really like Deganek as a right back. I really do. I think especially when you're coming up against very solid left wingers, he's got that physique, he's got the pace. I think his pace is very underrated as well, by the way. I think he's probably quicker than both Karacic and Atkinson. And of course he's a centre back, right? So he's got that physicality. I think offensively he does obviously lack a little bit, just pure fact that he's a natural centre back. But I don't mind him, especially late on in games where we try and defend those diagonal balls. He's very good in the air. Adds another number for set pieces as well, which is great. And obviously he's a little bit more defensively minded, so just had that extra security. Bacchus, I thought Bacchus's role when he came onto the pitch was fucking unbelievable. Yes, a million times yes. And because I flagged this, so for those who don't know, if you go over to the Inner Sanctum YouTube channel, I did a player spotlight on Keanu Bacchus pre-tournament, and I spoke about his position for St. Mirren. He's basically playing like a right wing back. It's a defensive right wing back. So he kind of plays like a defensive midfielder, but on the right hand side. And he did that. That was his role. That was his role for the game, playing as that like a right midfielder, right wing back, and a lot of their attacks were coming down that left hand side. So we brought Deganek on, who added that extra security. I thought was fantastic. And we brought Bacchus on, that is his role. That is his role. I was saying, why is he bringing Bacchus on instead of Devlin? Like surely Devlin's a little bit more suited to this game, but because Devlin's a little bit more niggly, a little bit more of a prick, right? So he'll draw a foul, he'll go into that 50-50 a little bit harder because he's a bit of an arsehole, right? But he's a like arsehole in terms of, you know what I mean. But when I say he's an arsehole, a good arsehole. But when I thought about it and when I've looked back at it now and I've read stuff and when I look back at the game and watched a couple of bits back, yes, Keanu Bacchus was the guy. A fantastic substitution from Graham Arnold. Fantastic substitution. A lot of their attacks was coming down that left-hand side. So bringing on Bacchus, who was there, who is the perfect, or who plays that defensive midfielder role for his club side. So he knew exactly what he needed to do and was fantastic at it. Hrustic, marvellous when he got onto the ball. Marvellous. Very good. Very, very, very good. Just so composed, so calm. I think he was a little bit more physically dominant than a lot of the other players just because he came on a little bit later, but I thought he was fantastic with the ball. So comfortable, so calm, very composed. Was making those runs in behind the defence, which we couldn't find him a lot of the time, which was a little bit frustrating, but I thought he was very good. Alan Mobile just provided that energy, that pace on the counter-attack. A little bit wasteful, especially with that final touch in the last second, but again, that's neither here nor there. I thought he was very good when he came on. I really enjoyed the way he played. And Jamie McLaren, who I think we should have started Cumdog. I think we should have started him, but I guess that goes to show why I sit here and do this podcast and I'm not the coach of the Socceroos. yeah. So like J-Mac was great. J-Mac was really good. Getting him behind, using his pace, very good. Hitting the channels very well. Yeah, liked his game a lot, especially when he came on. Liked his game a lot. Liked his game a lot. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. I think I'm done. Speaking about the game. I think I'm done speaking about the game. This team gonna be the death of me. Gonna be the absolute death of me. But I can't. I'm not gonna. I don't. I'm not gonna. I don't want to live it any other way. And for those who know me when I watch sport, you know that I'm very timid. I spoke about this in the game against Peru on that podcast. I said I don't like to celebrate. I don't like to celebrate goals all that often. I don't like to kind of get over excited. I like to remain very very quiet and just wait for the final whistle. But when it comes around once every 4 years, you might not get that relief from the final whistle. You might not get that ability to kind of let out all your emotions when that whistle goes. So hence why the voice is how it is. I'm surprised the cops weren't called, because all of Bulleen would have heard me screaming like absolute lungs out when Mitchell Duke scored. But it is what it is. You gotta live it. You gotta live it. You gotta breathe it, because you gotta do it. You have to do it, because there's so many other countries which aren't feeling this, and I think you have to. You there's a clip. For those who watched SBS, I think it might have been the night of England-Iran. I think it might have been the night of England-Iran. For those who watch SBS, you saw that Ellie Menjum kind of feature piece where he spoke about the World Cup, and he spoke about how much it means to so many people, and he spoke about how Australians need to live it. It's on Twitter. I've quote tweeted it like 4 times. Like that clip, that video gets me absolutely, like it gets me goosebumps, gets me emotional, gets me so just like unbelievably proud, and kind of kind of reinforce the notion of what I keep thinking is what I think. Like I keep thinking this is what's right. But that video and that piece and that feature, it's like reinforced that and validated that like tenfold. Go watch it. It's great. Go watch it. It is unbelievable. I've quote tweeted it like I felt like 4 or 5 times. You don't have to scroll that far down my timeline. What else do I need to speak about? Oh, the scenes at Fed Square. The scenes at Fed Square. Go and seek that out on Twitter. You've probably seen it on Snapchat stories, Instagram stories, fucking Facebook stories. Who knows, right? You would have seen it. If you listen to this podcast, you would have seen it. Who says this country isn't a footballing country? Who says Australia isn't a footballing nation? We fucking are, man. We fucking are. This game proved it. Those scenes proved it. So many people care. So many people want to care. That's the thing. So many people want to care. It's just that for the longest time, we haven't given them the opportunity to care. Everyone's going to care about the World Cup. Everyone's going to care about the World Cup. It's about making people care for the 4 years in between, or for the 3 years in between. It's about making people care for those years. And that night at Fed Square, by all accounts, it was unbelievable. Like one of the best atmospheres this country's ever produced in any realm of anything. Those scenes are going to make people care. And that game is going to make people care. And if we get through to the 16, that's going to make people care. And heaven forbid if we get through to the quarters. I'm getting ahead of myself, but the lid's fucking off. If we get all the way there, that's going to make people care. We got to entice people to care. That's what it is. Those scenes were unbelievable. Those scenes were unreal. It's akin to what you see in Eastern Europe. It's akin to what you see in South America, to other parts of Europe, to some parts of Africa, to some parts of Asia. That's what it's akin to, because that's how good we can be. That's how passionate we can be, and that is how much of a footballing country this nation can be. We have so many young people like myself, if I'm going to blow smoke up my own ass even more, because I love doing that, who want to care so much, and who do care, but not enough. You got to make people care, and Saturday night will make people care, and a lot of people will care. A lot of people will care if you give them the reason to care. And that is, of course, what Saturday night was. Unbelievable stuff. And there's nothing in this country that competes. Nothing in this country competes. I don't care. You can tell me AFL, you can tell me NRL, you can tell me fucking tennis or basketball. I don't care. Trust me. I want to see Carlton win a premiership literally more than I want to have a child. I don't want to get married, right? That's how much I care about my footy team having some fucking success, right? But I'm telling you this from a person who is both equally partisan about both sports. There is nothing in this country, there is nothing on planet Earth that competes. Nothing. I'm not even talking sport. Nothing competes. Nothing will ever compete. And we need to bottle that up, and we need to expand it and just grow it more and more and more, because that's the way that this country is going to go forward when it comes to football. I'm done. Speak about the permutations. Now, of course, Denmark, I'm not going to speak about, I'll speak about the permutations for the group, and then I'll speak about the other games quickly. So, of course, we all know that that France beat Denmark, which was probably the second best result Australia could have gotten. However, it's the second best result by a margin of 3%, right? So, what this means is if Tunisia beat France, Australia needs to beat Denmark. If Tunisia fail to beat France, all Australia need is a point. Why can't we? We're unlucky that goal difference hurts us a little bit. And that's... oh my God. I've just thought of something. Which I'm not going to say, because I don't want to put it into the universe, so I'm not going to say it. But all I'm going to say is look at the goal difference, and then go back and watch the Australia-Tunisia game, and look at the potential for what could happen in the simultaneous kickoffs on Thursday morning. That's all I'm going to say. I've thought of a scenario in my head that I'm not going to say because I don't want to speak it into the universe. I don't want to manifest it, so I'm just not going to say it. I'm just going to put it in the back of my mind. But the fact that I've at least acknowledged it hopefully means that it will be reversed, if that makes any sense. But I'm not putting it in the universe, so I'm just going to ignore it. But why can't we get through? Why can't we get a point against Denmark? Why can't we? I'll do a preview. I won't do a preview. I'll speak about it properly when, of course, we come to it. On Wednesday's podcast. Okay, 48 minutes. Obviously, let's speak about the games just briefly. Very, very, very briefly. It was, of course, Poland, Saudi Arabia. Poland won. Lewandowski finally scored. Saudi Arabia looked very good, but then again, Saudi Arabia looked good, but Poland were just a little bit more clinical. Poland probably could have won the game 4-0. They hit the post, they hit the bar a couple of times. So, yeah, there you go. Argentina, Mexico. Messi stood up when his nation needed him to step up, and if Argentina lost, then of course they would be gone. They'd be eliminated. So it was a much needed win for Argentina. They got the job done. I watched that game. I woke up to watch it. It was a pretty I wouldn't say boring game, but I'll say maybe the first half was a little bit timid, but the second half, once Argentina needed to win the game, they really got it. They got foothold into the game and really started playing quite good football. Messi's goal was great. I think it might have been who was it? Enzo Fernandez's goal was probably even better. Good stuff. What that means for Group C is it means Poland, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico. If so obviously Poland play Saudi Arabia. Poland play Mexico. No, Poland play Argentina. Fuck me. Poland play Argentina, Saudi Arabia play Mexico. Poland are on 4 points. Argentina and Saudi Arabia are on 3 points. Mexico's on 1 point. Poland with a +2 goal difference. Argentina with a +1 goal difference. Saudi Arabia with a -2 goal difference. With a -1 goal difference. Mexico with a -2 goal difference. So if Poland don't beat Argentina, so if Poland lose to Argentina and Saudi Arabia beat Mexico, Saudi Arabia and Argentina go through. If Poland gets a point, they're through. If Argentina win and Mexico win, Mexico would need to win by about 5 goals. Really, in my opinion, the most likely scenario is going to be Argentina top, Saudi Arabia second, because I think Argentina will beat Poland and I think Saudi Arabia will beat Mexico. Of course, that comes down to goal difference. So Saudi Arabia could win 10-0 and then go first on goal difference. But if we're going to speak like semi-realistic or at least realistically here, I think that will be. However, Argentina top, Poland second could very well happen. Saudi Arabia could definitely draw with Mexico, or Mexico could win. But I think that's it. I've got to preview the games. Once again, I'm just going to give a preview of the games without giving any explanation. One, because that's what I did for the last couple of episodes, and secondly, because we're on 51 minutes. Japan, Costa Rica. Japan 2, Costa Rica 0. Belgium, Morocco. 1-1. 1-1. Canada, Croatia. 2-0 Canada. Spain, Germany. Ooh, the ramifications for this game is massive. Of course, Germany lose, they're out. For that reason. I know I said I wasn't going to give reasoning, but that statement, full stop, prediction, 1-0 to Germany. I just think they can't lose. They're not going to lose. They can't lose. But if Spain win, I won't be shocked. There's a good safety blanket for me. But yes, okay. I'm done. Thank you all very much for watching. 52 minutes, the most enjoyable podcast I've ever had to do in my life, the most enjoyable piece of content I've ever had to do in my life. I love this so much. I love this country. I love this game. It's great. Thank you all very much for watching. Make sure you come back tomorrow for a slightly less enthusiastic podcast, but I'm sure a far more articulate and far more tactical and whatever podcast. Thank you all very much for watching. So do all the good stuff, like I said at the start. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Thank you. It would mean the world if you shared it around, 5-star ratings and all that. See you guys tomorrow. Come on, the Socceroos. Can't wait. See you guys tomorrow. I don't want to even end it. I can click the button to end it, but I don't want to end it. I want to stay here. All right. Thank you all very much for watching again. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for like I said, probably slightly more tactical and neutral podcast. But yes, thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. Come on, Australia.